your nib's too slow and your ink won't flow, here's one of the places that you can go. Larry is here to help you through with Mr. Announcer and Cubby too. It's Larry's Fountain Pen Reviews.
I forget I'm alive. I forget what ink I'm using until I go to the ink guy channel. Then he kind of gets me hip on what's up with the ink. So, yeah. In fact, on the ink guy channel is the only one I go to now because it gives me all the information that I need. So it's done. So don't get a big head, Adam. So there we go. It's all about peace and love, brother. All right. So, Tony, take it away for a little bit. Oh, and if y'all want to ask a question or intervene, raise your hand so that way we can let you in, because sometimes it gets overrun and people get knocked out or whatever they'd happen.
Well, just causes feedback.
Feedback, yeah. I don't know. Okay, Tony, what's up?
Well, welcome everyone. I want to welcome on behalf of Larry and Larry's Pen Pal group. We're happy to do this as our second time that we're doing this, isn't it?
Yep,
and
number 2.
All right, and happy birthday to all the Marines, as Adam said. We want to welcome them all and send out our love to them. By the way, it's been great getting to see some of the people again and now put faces with names, and I'm excited for this second Zoom meetup, and I hope that we get a chance to explore some of the things we didn't talk about last time about writing letters, communicating, corresponding, and there you go. There's somebody else in the bottom there. I'm just excited about getting this thing going. And Larry, thank you, and Mr. Announcer for putting this together.
Hi, Susan. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. Hi, Susan. And we want to thank Larry for and Mr. Announcer, because I know that all the technical stuff that he does to make this thing happen. And when we see the results on the YouTube channel on how well it's done and edited and everything else, I thank you guys for doing that, and thank all of you for joining us tonight. And again, I don't know, Larry seems to think I'm some sort of special guest star. I'm just Tony, and I'm just
He's a rock star. Tony's a rock star. Yes.
In my own mind, I'm a rock star. But honest to God, it's just actually, like, I look at Adam and think I want to talk to him about some inks here in just a little bit, because I just bought some, and there's a whole. I can't wait. And I get to see Susan's one of my pen pals there, and I haven't written you, but Norm, I just sent off your letter. And James, I sent another letter off too. So, and Dan, yours went out today. So it's good to see you all here. It's good.
Hey, Mark, what's up? Mark in the house. Little Marco, little big Marco, little Marco. Hey, there's Marco. Okay. So, okay. First, let's start off with the letter thing. Okay. How many people feel it's important to keep writing letters, to keep that alive? Or do you think it's just a here today, gone tomorrow thing, and rather use a computer? What's your thoughts on that, folks? For real. And I'll tell you why I'm asking that question in a minute. Is it important to keep the letters going or not? Norm?
Yeah, I believe it is, for a couple of reasons. I think that there's way more that can be said, particularly on a emotional level, in a handwritten letter. It shows up on the page. You can express more of your thoughts. And to me, it's just more freeing than a computer keyboard. So it sort of allows us to do things in more detail and get nuances across that I can't get on a keyboard. I don't know what everybody else thinks, but that's where I'm at.
Anybody else?
Well,
Rosemary.
Hi. Well, I enjoy it because I feel more connected to people, especially now during the COVID crisis. You're home all day. At least I am, because I'm older and I'm retired. And, just staying in touch with my fountain pen friends is very important to me, because I feel like I'm not alone in all this. You know, we've got people to talk to, and it's just like having a conversation with a friend, you know. And by the way, Tony, I am way overdue. I mailed your letter out today.
No worries, no problem. I do want to follow up on that last statement. I do get like Marie. Welcome, Marie.
Thank you.
I get in letters occasionally. The apology for the late response, and I always respond back by saying there is no need to apologize, because everyone, we have a thing called life that kind of gets in the way of us doing stuff we like to do. And in my case, I'm fortunate to work from home. So when that drive time, going to work, coming back from work, that time is eliminated now. So I have extra, I can get more work done. And so in the evenings, I get extra time to write. And, you know, when I send out 16, 17 letters, those were not done over the weekend. That was a week's worth of writing. So it's not to fool anyone, but yeah, letter writing is important, and Norm is correct about that personality and how that does show up. In Norm's letter I just received about a week ago, after about a month on coming from Australia, it was a fabulous letter. Thank you, Norm. That was a great letter and very, very informative and very interesting, as are most every one of my pen pals. I really appreciate you all.
Now, let me give you the reason why I asked that question. I had one person, I won't mention no names, but he wrote me an email. He told me that I can't quote it because I don't have the letter in front of me, but the letter days from the past are over. Get with the new system. It's called email. Haven't you heard about emails, man? That'll save you money and time. So he said, that's what he said. So I just thought I'd throw it out. Go ahead, Ink Eye.
You know what? Honestly, the day of letter writing is past. However, so are fountain pens, so are typewriters, so are tape recorders, and there's entire communities that use all these old analog ways because they like it. Records have been gone forever, yet I know record collectors that love listening to records, so yes, letter writing is a dead and gone thing, really. However, I shaking your head no, Mia, but as a majority, it is. However, all of the old analog things stay around for a very, very long time. Again, there's a lot of people still using dip nips, and think about how long that's been since it was actually what was used to write.
Janice.
What I was going to say is, recently my little 6-year-old great niece was visiting, and I got a letter from one of my pen pals, and she was all excited about it. So I bought her a stationery set. Now she uses a pencil, not a fountain pen. Got her some washi tapes and things like that. And I've got a new pen pal now. And her mother says she just gets so excited just to get that in the mail every, couple of weeks or so. And so I think it's probably a thing of the past, but I think it can bring a lot of joy to the younger generation if we open it up to them. And like I said, she gets excited, and she answers my letters almost immediately or as soon as she gets them. So,
Anybody else?
Norm, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to make the point that with some of this, old technology, a lot of it, I think, is because a lot of people don't know of it or haven't used it. I stayed in a caravan a while ago, and I lit up an old Coleman style, you guys call it white gas lantern. Most people, I collect them, I've got heaps of them. Most people have never used them. They think they're dangerous or whatever, but I lit it up, and a couple of the people said, wow, I've never seen anything so bright. All I use is LED lanterns. So a lot of this older technology, be it records, fountain pens, letters, whatever, in many ways, a lot of the younger people, and I'm not having a go at them at all, have never had the chance to try this stuff. So it's died without people knowing anything about it. Wondering what people think of that.
I agree with you. I'll agree totally. I think a lot of, and I agree with Adam what it says. You know, a lot of this has to do with that is it may have not be in the forefront. It's died off. It sure has tapered off, obviously. But I just talked to someone who's collecting vinyl records now. That they go out and look for vinyl. And most people don't even know, most young people don't even know what a turntable is. They think it's something that rappers used to, you know, that, you know, you know.
Dolores.
I think it's kind of a win-win situation. If you've ever written a letter and the person either called you or wrote back and said, your letter came at just the right time. I really needed that extra happiness in the mail. And it's also, we get so much joy out of receiving letters, but there's something psychologically pleasing when you put pen and paper together. And it just, for those of us who love fountain pens and good paper and all, it speaks to our souls to be able to do that and have the opportunity to write letters. And especially with all the colors, I love color so much. It gives me a good excuse to buy more ink and paper.
Let me ask a question on here. You know, when I write letters, I always use Tomo River paper, my favorite paper to write my letters with. But, you know, when I do my reviews, I use Rhodia or sometimes Tomo River paper or Franklin Christoph, whatever I have handy. But I forgot who was using it. Could have been Dolores, Life paper. Okay, Tony was one. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Tony, me, yep.
That, Dolores, is a kick animal type of great paper.
Isn't it wonderful?
Fabulous.
And I looked on Big Brother's site, see if he had it. I wonder who that'd be, Frank. And he doesn't carry that. You need to tell Frank about that, Mark.
I'm sorry, what paper was that? The Tomoe River?
No, Life.
Oh, Life. Oh, yes.
Life, but it's which
Life Airmail.
Life Airmail, yeah.
Yes.
Life Airmail, yeah. Because I want to start using it. It's not going to be the main paper, but it's going to be one of the, yeah. There you go. Yeah.
I'm partial to Tomoe River. I like that.
Yeah, I love Tomo. There's nothing to replace Tomo River paper, but I still like that the way the ink goes on that Life paper. Just kind of got my attention. And then when that kind of happens, this is for real how my brain works. When I saw that, it kind of went back to the ink guy, and I could like see him showing how the ink works on the different papers he uses. That just kind of was like kind of weird, but that just kind of like how my mind goes. But okay, next, because I talk too much.
No, well, on the paper, for those of you that have received letters from me, you'll notice that, well, in Larry's case, I generally do use just Tomoe River because I know he loves that. But I know that when I write letters to everyone else, I'll mix papers. I'll use a page of Midori, a page of Life, a page of Tomoe River. Sometimes I've got some old typewriter paper that I bought, and it's like that onion skin paper, so it's textured. It's very absorbent, so fountain pen ink will spread, not feather so much, but spread. So if I'm writing with a medium, it's going to look like a broad line. But I like to mix up. I don't know. I'm weird. I mix up inks
that's
and
cool.
papers,
Yeah,
and all that.
You know what I do like to point out though, because I've talked to many people about this one. Believe it or not, there's a lot of people that cannot afford good quality paper.
Yeah.
So, and they don't want to write letters because they have to use notebook paper and they think they're going to be criticized for using notebook paper. And I've told them, I said, you use what you can afford, what you have available. Don't worry about what other people think. You know, if that's what you can afford, that's cool. You know, it's all about what you can afford. If you can't even afford a fountain pen and you use a pencil or a crayon, that's cool too. If you want to write letters, you write letters the best way you can because it's all about writing a letter, you know. So, ding, next.
Adam?
I was going to say that most of my pen pals actually use much cheaper paper and in ballpoint. You know, I don't think most of the, very few of my pen pals use fountain pens.
Wow, okay.
It's not necessarily that they have to go together. So when people
Sure.
worry about it, I've gotten plenty of letters on torn out notebook pages. It's never bothered me.
No.
You know, I like to play with papers and use a lot of different ones, but
Yeah,
that's more
yeah.
personal.
I want to go back for a minute.
Rosemary has something.
Rosemary.
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 No, I just wanted to say, I'm just happy to get a letter. So it doesn't really matter to me what it's written
Right.
on or what it's written with. I'm just happy to get a letter. But, you know, I like different papers myself. I experiment with different ones. Sometimes I go to eBay and you can get some good papers there cheap. Right now, I found a bunch of this paper called Crane is the manufacturer. And they make very nice paper. And I got it real cheap when it came with envelopes too.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you go to eBay. So you find a lot of deals there. eBay and of course another one that you didn't mention that I really like is the Clairefontaine Triomphe. I can't pronounce it, but whatever. I like to write with that too. It's very smooth.
Adam?
So I mean, I like to mix it up.
Got a question over here.
No.
I wanted to
Adam,
point
I'm sorry, Adam. Yeah.
the best place I have found to find really good, like exceptionally high quality paper, super cheap, thrift stores.
Yeah.
You want to
Right.
go find old paper. And the nice thing about old paper when it comes to pen pals, it doesn't matter if it's got other writing in it for stuff. But old paper, it was manufactured very different. And if you're lucky enough that the thrift store hasn't thrown it out as garbage, because that's what happens sometimes, when they see that you buy it, they'll hold on to it because they know they've got a buyer.
Right.
Let me clear up one thing. Back when we were doing the that review, Frank, with was it John with Visconti? Remember? Well, he also uses ballpoint pens, but I do use ballpoint pens from time to time and gel pens from time to time, and I use pencils, #2 pencils, and I use mechanical pencils. Yeah, but yeah, I mostly use fountain pens. But yeah, I always have a ballpoint, you know, next to me. I got them at my desk. I carry a ballpoint with me, a different type, but because you never know when you're going to need a ballpoint. I've got a one on my desk, a Parker. It's a felt and a gel pen desk set, and I keep that on there. So yeah, I use them quite a bit. So I didn't want to make that clear that I use those other writing instruments besides that. But what I need to get into, and I keep saying it and I don't, is into dip pens. I have dip pens. I have glass dip pens. I have wooden dip pens, and I have nibs for them. And I pull them out and I get to write, and then I stop, and I don't know why. They're good. The glass pen that I use holds a lot of ink on it. And I used to use that when I was doing some of the ink sample tests, but I stopped that. I just use a Q-tip when I do that because I don't go heavy into ink tests. I was at one time going to do it. I said, no, there's enough people doing that. It's too much time consuming for me, and not, my plate's full. Okay.
Yeah. I was going to ask if we can just take a brief second and go around, because there are a few people that were not in the last Zoom meetup, Larry, and I know most of the people in here, but maybe they don't know each other. If we can go by and just introduce yourself and where you're from, would that be all right?
Yeah, first let me intervene if you don't mind. There's two gentlemen here that may not know each other. Da, da, da.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I have to put that plug in, my brothers.
That's right. That's right.
Go ahead. We'll start with Janice Joplin. Go ahead, Janice.
I'm Janice. I live in Azle, just north of Fort Worth, and Larry and Frank and I have been members of the Fort Worth Pen Club for, I guess, about 3 years now. So that's how I know Larry.
Just bypass me. Go ahead, Tony.
No, I'm Tony Rastisi. I'm Kansas City, Missouri, and I'm all over the place. But I'm happy to be here. Happy to be friends with Larry. Happy to be pen pal with all you, Frank and Mark, and seeing you all again. So it's happy to be here.
Rosemary.
My name's Rosemary Wiseman, and I'm from Oldsmar, Florida. I've been a member of the Fountain Pen Friends group for a couple of years, and Tony is one of my pen pals.
That's right.
Dolores.
I'm Dolores Azary. I'm from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. And let's see, I actually found out about the last Zoom that we had from Tony's post.
Yeah.
From Fountain Pen Pal.
Yeah.
Real quick, if you don't mind, let me interject here for a second. Dolores, didn't you send me a message one time? Was it you that I just responded to? That you sent me a message back in, was it August or something on Facebook? Was that you?
You know, I might have. I actually watched your videos before I found out about
what has happened, and we've tried to straighten that out. There was like, I don't know how it happened. There was 4 different messengers that was on my name, and we don't know how that happened. So Mr. Announcer took off all of them. He thought just kept that one that I used, and now that other one's still there. So a lot of people leave messages on it, and I very rarely even go to it. And that's when I think I saw you, Dolores. I said, oh my, look, August. All right, we'll go next. Mr. Ink Eye.
I'm Adam. I live in Florida. I don't know. I've had pen pals now for, like 7 years. And through that time, I've had a whole lot more fall off than have stuck around.
Yeah.
That's normal.
Yep.
Okay. Susan.
So I had pen pals growing up, like, for a long time, and I still have those letters in my basement in a box. At one point, different people who wrote to me, I put them in a little pile and I tied them with ribbons. And one day when I was trying to clean the basement, I wound up sitting down and actually opening up those letters and reading them again, which, sorry, email, I probably will never look at people's emails ever again, like, unless somebody dies and I want to look at stuff they wrote to me like a long time ago. Like, letters, letters, I can see myself being 90 years old and actually opening up the box filled with letters and actually reading them and being like, I forgot about this. So we had a demonstration when COVID first hit. I work at Harvard, and one of the people on Fountain Pens Friends is part of your group, and she did to try to keep people connected and keep people sane. We had a fireside chat event, and we were demonstrating things that we're passionate about over lunchtime. And she did a fountain pen demonstration. And she held up some letters from some people in the group and showed us, and she talked about pen pals. And I immediately was like, oh my God, I can have pen pals again. I am going to get into fountain pens. So now I have a lot of fountain pens that I probably spent too much money. I mean, not as much as a lot of people in fountain pen friends, because I see some of the pens, and my most expensive pen is going to be, I think, $100 pen that I got during Fountain Pen Day. But that was on sale. I've gotten care packages from people in the fountain pen group that came right at the right time. I hadn't written to people for like well over a week, and was having some crazy issues with my pets because all my pets are elderly now. And it's like you get this letter in the mailbox, or you get like this care package from someone out of nowhere, and it really does. It like brightens your day. So I'm just really happy to have this new habit and be writing again. So anyway, I took way too much time there, but hi.
Not a problem. That's what we're here for. Norm, come in.
Yeah, hi guys. I'm Norm from Melbourne, Australia. I'm probably the last generation that learned to write with a fountain pen down here. So I've been using fountain pens all my life. Basically, I've seriously got into them only in about the last 5 years, but I have used them all my life and enjoy using them and use them in preference. So that's me, guys.
Maya.
Maya?
Hiya, I'm Maya. I live in Wales, where they speak Welsh. But I'm actually from London, so I did learn a little bit of Welsh here. And I love writing letters. I had pen pals through the International Youth Service, or whatever it was called. And I had a pen pal in Singapore, France. But when you're a teenager and you've got lots of homework to do and exams, you falls by the wayside. And then I got back into it after leaving university, and then again about 13 years ago, and I have been writing ever since. I've still got a few pen pals from 13 years ago, and we also discovered a site called Post Crossing, and the 1st of October was World Postcard Day. And it's a postcard sending site is Post Crossing, and again you got the connection, and you write to total strangers all the way around the world, and you get postcards in return, and it really does make the world a smaller place. It does feel more connected than, say, email. I mean, I tried email at Pen Friends, but then there's almost like an urgency to write back. If you don't write back, they say, why haven't you written back to me? So it's pen paling, sort of actually handwriting letters slows you down in a mad, fast world.
Yeah. Can you say something in Welsh so I can hear it?
Bore da, but that's good morning. So maybe to Norm.
Say that again, Maya. Say it again.
Bore da.
Oh, it's cool.
That is fun.
Okay, Dan's next.
Dan.
Me, I was asleep with my eyes open. No, I'm really enjoying. I'm just enjoying taking this all in. I'm so new. I'm still shining from all the newness of this.
Yeah. I hear you.
Frankly, I just decided to try to buy a fountain pen. I didn't know where to begin and what to do, and I was kind of researching things and looking around, and I stumbled on a YouTube by Larry, and he said something in there about, well, if you have any questions and you need help, let me know. And I said, oh, there's somebody willing to answer some questions. So I wrote him an email of all things, and he wrote back right away and ended up calling me on the phone and give me some input and help me to know what to do. And I bought a little FPR pen, and then long story short, I started just getting to go to all of his Zoom things, and next thing I know, one of them was this place. And I'm not used to talking to one-on-one people unless I'm counseling. Usually I'm just talking to rooms full of people, and one-on-one and then writing it down outside of electronic media is like mind-boggling. But I just wanted a pen to write with it, but I was just going to write for me, you know. And next thing I know, man, I'm just falling in love with writing on paper and seeing the ink pour out onto that page. And when Larry first, he sent me a few samples of these little bottles of different colors of ink. I thought, what am I going to do with these things? The ink is black. I thought, oh, I told him, I said, well, thank you. But, you know, I'm probably just going to get a pen with black ink, you know. So now I've got bottles of ink everywhere, different colors. And I've got to ask the ink guy some advice about what I bought off of it. I'm very upset about. But that's a different issue altogether.
And then isn't this how you got to meet Frank, isn't it? Because you didn't know about Frank.
Yep. And I was just going to write on paper, wrote on some regular paper, and the ink just went all over the place. And so I started, well, I better find some paper for a pen. And in fact, I've got some from him, and I've got some more on the way now from him. And appreciate your business, Frank. I'm going to support you every possible way I can. If I'm looking for something, I start with you. And if you don't have it, well, I tried. You can't have everything for everybody.
Nope.
But,
I will tell you. I'll tell you where to go too if I know.
You did. Yeah. I actually called you, asked you a question. Larry had me call you and ask you a question, and you didn't. I think it was you, and you pointed me to somebody else. It was either you or Kevin, one of the two of you. I don't remember which one it was, but at any rate, I was looking for a flex nib pen that was not the Pilot Falcon, but a different one. Anyway, and that might, I don't know if it was you or not that I talked to, but anyway, I'm buying your paper, and I love that. But now I've got ink issues and learning. I'm Googling how to get it off of my hands.
Well, Dan, that's just the beginning. That's just the beginning of a new life. So get used to it. Okay, let's go to Mark, and then we're going to be going to Adam in a few. So you can ask Adam your question as soon as we get done here. Marco Polo.
Hey, everyone. For those that don't know me, I'm Mark. I'm from Voorhees, New Jersey, outside the Cherry Hill region. I am Frank's brother, and I always enjoy hanging with Larry, Tony, and the crew that gets together and does this each time.
And he's Frank's helper, too.
That's right. Sure is.
Yeah.
I'm his Igor.
My right-hand man.
You better be, you know.
Partner in crime.
Like they say, Mark, ink is thicker than blood. Remember that. Okay, James-O.
Well, I'm from Romulus, Michigan. I've been in fountain pens probably a little over a year now. I can't get into it as much as I can. All messed up, and next Monday I go for another reconstructive surgery. I got to go in with metal rods and wires and screws and bolts, and my hands just fell apart. And they're just trying to get it where I can hold a pen again. And I wasn't supposed to use a pen this last couple of weeks, and Larry's tried to talk me out of it and told me, you know, don't grab one, not to make your hands hurt anymore. But I ordered an endless journal for Frank. And I tell you, that endless journal, that paper is the best paper. And I bought a lot of journals.
I told you. Yep.
That is the best paper. I used a broad nib. I've used an extra fine, a fine, a medium, a stub, and nothing goes through it.
Got mine in here. Yeah.
I love it. And I blame most
good news,
Larry, because if Larry wouldn't have had these videos and do all this kind of stuff, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
Ooh.
But it's all Larry's fault.
That's Frank's fault.
Sorry for cutting you in, Jim. Sorry for cutting you in.
I hopefully within the next few months after, that's supposed to be my last surgery. We're hoping.
Good.
And if it is, I can get into letter writing, and I got to start slow and start with a small, you know, like a smaller pen and work my way up. I might have to start with a pencil or something like that, but I'm going to work into it, and I know where to get my stuff. Like I said, Frank, I emailed Frank, you know, I texted Frank, and Frank has helped me with anything I needed. I got some bottles from it. He's, if you want those best customer service, go to Frank and his brother, I tell you.
Okay.
Take care of that hand first.
Yep.
I wanted to interject too that all the endless covers are back in stock. Colors,
Okay.
paper styles. A couple of you have asked about that the last couple times. So they're all back in stock.
Good deal.
So, yeah, they're good sellers and they move fast.
Maria next.
Marie?
Okay. Marie Hanley from New Jersey, and I love all things stationery. I'm not the quickest responder. I will respond. I will 100% respond. It's not as quick as I would like. Sometimes I'll do a bunch of letters on a weekend afternoon, and then I like to decorate the envelope and pick which stamp goes. And I've been known to keep the letters on the table for 3 weeks to the point where I have to write a second letter. So people get second letters from me in the one envelope. I love the feeling of writing and all the different colors of the inks and the pens. And a friend of mine, we were work colleagues for about 25 years, and she retired about 8 years ago. So we've been corresponding back and forth. And she sent me about a year ago all of the letters I had sent her that I wrote her. And it was very, very interesting to see myself in different periods of time along the way. So I thought that was a very cool thing to do.
Cool.
So I save everything. So I'll return the paper someday.
And let's say, oh, there's Mr. Frank. Hello, Mr. Frank.
Hello.
Oh, no, we got two Franks.
Well,
Okay.
We'll
Me or Overman?
We'll go with you, Mr. Federalist, first, and then we'll get to Mr. Overman.
Okay. Sorry if I talked out of place there, Frank. So I'm Frank Limper, also known as Frank Xavier, Frankie X on pen forms and Federalist Pens. Here in South Jersey. We're right outside of Philly. And yes, I'm Federalist Pens, just celebrating my 5th year as a retailer. I've been in this hobby. I've been collecting pens a good 40 years since I was a kid. Fountain pens about the last 15. And I discovered the community and around that time. I've been on pen forums. I used to run my own forum. Now, of course, I sell as a retailer. And yeah, I love pens. Love to write. I write with fountain pens every day. And yeah, it's just, I'm still having a lot of fun. I still treat this as a hobby. I'm always wanting to help people. And like a couple of you mentioned, most of you guys here actually are customers of mine. I appreciate everything you've done. You're all friends of Larry, and Larry has helped with this too, with the club and all. And again, like a couple of people you mentioned, if I can't help you, I will certainly point you in the right direction. So thank you, and I'm glad to be here.
Now we'll go to Frank Overman.
Yeah, sorry, I usually set my name to be Frank O when I come in to differentiate from
Franco.
So, but we got into fountain pens. Well, I didn't learn to write fountain pens when I was in school, but I got into fountain pens in the late 70s and was out of it for quite a long time. My first pen was a Schaefer No Nonsense. It was a red pen and I loved it, but the as you would tighten up the threads there, the cap cracked, so it was broken. I threw it away a long time ago, but I've since gotten another one like it. But then we got into fountain pens, I think about 2005, and my wife, Kara Overman, who's on a Zoom meeting in another room for her quilt guild tonight. She couldn't be here for this. She got into fountain pens, and I kind of got back into it with her, and I think we have several hundred pens between us. Some of them are more expensive. Some of them are like the fountain pens that Kara got from the $5 store, 8 of them for $5. But we've got a few very nice pens. Yes, the ones that Larry has there.
They're excellent. Really, these are excellent fountain pens.
Very, very nice little pens. And we lived in Chicago area for 20 years up until about 2015. And we went to several of the pen shows up in the Chicago area, and then we came down to my business, my company transferred me. My job keeps moving. I keep going with it, and I've been with them now for 36 years.
Wow.
But moved down here, and we went to our first pen show in Dallas in 2015, and I'm not sure exactly what year it was we met Larry. I think we heard about this guy named Larry, and we tried to find him, but I don't think he was feeling good, so he might have gotten home quicker than and we got a chance to see him. But we met up and we got into the Fort Worth Pen Club, and I'm glad to help out Larry and others in the group whenever I can, and just have a good time enjoying the hobby. Between my work and time with my grandson and other things, I'm not actively pen paling right now, but I imagine it'll come back sometime when the time's
And
right.
also, Frank also is the room manager that helps out tremendously when we do these events. So that's a major plus, because you never know what can happen, like it has once before. And then he oversees now my groups on Facebook. That helps me a whole lot, because I'm really busy every day, you know, planning the next Zoom meets, pin videos. Now the coloring book thing, I've been doing that to do reviews on. So I keep myself pretty well busy. And when I have guests come on, it's not just, well, call them up, say, hey, Joe, can you be on the show? No, nothing like that. You got to send them an email, wait for a response, and then they ask you this and you answer, and they ask you that, then you answer, then you figure out a day, then you figure out a time, and then you put it all together, you check your calendar, and boom. It's work.
Yep.
A lot of work.
Okay, next is going to be what?
Lannis.
Lana.
Hey. Since I joined late to the start, what's the question, Larry?
Who are you?
I don't even know who I am, Lana. So,
Who she is?
Oh, you kind of
know who she is.
Oh, well, I believe I am probably the only Canadian in this chat room right now. And I live in Ontario, right at Toronto. I work in the diamond trade. I've been collecting pins for probably 40 years, and my first fountain pens were Elysier's, and I still have them, so that's a big thrill.
Wow, that's heavy.
Lannis, speaking of diamonds, they've got the latest thing. I see a lot of diamond cast. That's that resin with the glitter. Is that actually diamond dust, or is it just called that? Is it, Adam?
I'm not sure what you're talking about, but is it? Are they diamonds, or are they,
like you can see this one? It's Gonti.
It's diamond dust.
No, diamond dust.
Yeah, the Esterbrook special edition Estes, the oversized ones that are diamond cast. Kenro has a card certifying that it is reclaimed diamond dust from cutters when they cut the diamonds. So they
yes, I have one of those.
Yeah,
you have one?
Yeah.
I just showed it. Yeah, full of diamond dust. I'm rich.
Unfortunately, your resale value is
a little bit less.
Something
Don't hurt me now. Don't hurt me. No, don't hurt me now. It's gonna hurt.
I have been more regular in the past than I am in the present, answering my emails. To tell you the truth, I think that COVID has hit all of us in different ways, and I just haven't been writing like I used to. I mean, I don't know what it is. I think there's a lot of, well, probably for all you guys too, there's a lot of despondency, here in Toronto. You can't go and sit in a restaurant and eat. I don't know about you guys in the US or the different areas. It's just very, very sad how it's hit the world in general. But anyway, Marie and I write, except for I haven't written in ages, right, Marie? Is she there?
Yes, I had to unmute. Yes, that's correct.
As well as, who else did I see on here? Dolores, eh? Dolores, you and I don't write, right? We just hang out on Facebook a lot.
We do. you wrote me once and I responded with a letter that was partially delivered by the Pony Express.
Partially delivered by what?
Pony Express.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. Anyway, I need to, I think that's, while we're talking about pen pals and writing and stuff like that, I think that it's a good place to talk about encouraging one another and to, I mean, Tony obviously doesn't need any encouragement. I mean, he's a machine. He is a real machine, and I owe you one, don't I, Tony?
Whatever. Take your time. It's fine. It's fine. Take your time.
Anyway, that's me.
All right, now Susan, you're up.
Well, we already go ahead, Susan.
Are you done, Susan?
I have a question for Susan.
Oh, well, he's got a question for you, Susan.
Yeah, Susan.
Okay, Tony, I'm ready.
Do you just where did you come up with tutu, if you don't mind me asking? Is that you on Instagram or Facebook? I can't remember because I was confused at one point. I was going to send you a message and I noticed, and I was almost going to address your envelope tutu.
So you could address it Tutu because I actually get mail sometimes addressed to Susan Tutu. I had this idea that if anybody from my work looked at my Facebook page, they might say, oh no, look how unprofessional, and like I might lose my job or something crazy, even though
that makes sense.
Lame. So I decided to come up with my, secret name, even though what's really dumb is my Facebook login thing is Facebook Tours at Facebook. So, I mean, I'm not fooling anyone. No, and I have friends who are from work because I got to be a certain age and I decided, you know what, I really don't care. And if they find things about me on the internet that I'm embarrassed about, that's because they looked and it's their problem. So yeah, tutu is because I like wearing tutus sometimes and I make tutus. I have a nice tutu collection.
Cool.
So that's where it came from.
For those of you who don't know who I am, during the first year of Larry's videos, people were driven crazy by the fact that they could hear me but never see me. So we just keep up the mystery, and I am forever Mr. Announcer.
Not only that, but I still, the thing I laughed most about was there was a mug that Larry put out a mug. It had Cubby on there. It had Larry on there, and then Mr. Announcer in a silhouette. You weren't going
to. And they actually get really aggravated at me. Really, I mean, yeah, I had some folks to get nasty with me. Call me names. I said, nope, still ain't going to tell you. So let me share a story with you real quick. When you're writing letters, back in the day, I used to get sometimes in a day 7 or 8 letters. So I'm trying to write letters. So I'm writing them all. And I believe I got them all done. And I stuffed them in envelopes and stamped them and mailed them. Well, then I got an email from somebody saying, hey, Larry, I got so-and-so's letter. Well, what happened is I put the wrong letters in the wrong envelopes and like, oh no. So that's what happened. So I said, well, while you're at it, could you send that letter to so-and-so? And he said, sure. And so the other guy got a hold of me and I asked him, well, can you send that to so-and-so? Because he has your letter. He's going to be sending it to you. That happened 4 times in Winter Group. So yeah, that was kind of interesting.
It's one time. It's happened to me one time. My goodness.
Now, Dan, would you like to ask the ink guy your question, if y'all don't mind?
Yeah, ask on.
Okay.
Drum roll.
I have a dear friend of mine gifted me with this Pelican dark green ink, right? Love it. Works great. And so I thought it's the 4001, right? And it's a nice dark green ink. And just like it says, and I've been wanting to find a really dark ink with some other color mixed with it. So I thought I'd like to try to find something with this black that's just a little blue in it. So I looked up blue black and I found that there was somebody that had this one called also Pelican 4001, but an older label, an older bottle with a white plastic lid, written in German stuff on it. But I got it. It is weak. Like, I can't believe how weak it is. And I'm so disappointed in it. And I can give you an example. I don't know if you can see this or not. This is how weak blue black is. It's like gray, like a ghost gray. What is this? The ink gone bad, or
if I'm not mistaken, the old 4001 blue black is an iron gall type of ink, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And so it could have basically oxidized in the bottle.
Oh.
And it's not like I have a 4000. Don't tell anybody. You're not allowed to have it. You have an illegal ink.
Seriously?
Yeah, it can't be imported.
Oh.
I got given a bottle
imported from eBay.
Yeah, it's a something with customs. It can't be imported. But some of the iron gall inks, I think I found with some of the samples I got, where just writing with them, they were very different than what they should have been. And I think sometimes they've aged from just air, air in the bottle. When the bottle's opened, things like that, it will allow it to age. So when I open an ink now that's an iron gall, I pay more attention to getting through the bottle. Not like you have to get through it in a month. But when that ink's gotten years old, it's gotten a lot of air circulated through it. So it's aged. That's all. Iron gall inks essentially rust on the paper.
Okay.
And so all that's happened is if you got a newer, which is still, if I'm not mistaken, an iron gall formula, a newer of the Pelican blue black, then it would be very different than what you're getting.
I saw YouTube. I Googled it, or looked around, and I saw a review of it, and I forget who it was, but it looks like a dark blue ink. And this is like I said, it's like almost like somebody took a bottle of black ink and mixed a half of it with water. It's just like a watered down gray. So I have the opportunity. I mean, I haven't said anything to the seller, but I don't know if I should ask for my money back or just learn a lesson. And
you got it on eBay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a vintage ink. They can age.
Okay.
Like if you bought a very old ink, I bought a very old ink one time that the seller had no idea. The bottle was not open. Like when I opened it, I could tell it was never opened.
Okay.
It was bad. Not their fault.
Okay.
Frank, I'm holding up a bottle though.
I dare you to knock this off. But you're absolutely right, Adam. This is a 1950s bottle of Carter's Midnight Blue Black.
Yeah.
And did buy it at an antique store, sealed, brand new, just like he said. And it is a grayed out blue black, and actually I know I sent a sample of this to Larry. This is very viscous. It actually is very nice. But if you are expecting a modern blue black, you're not going to get it. And I actually transfer it because it's a quart bottle, and it comes and it has a spout, and I don't want to risk damaging it or breaking it like that. So I pour a little bit into a smaller bottle.
Wow.
Play with it and use it or sample it, and I do. And yes, it is grayed out.
Okay.
But it writes.
So what I need to do is find somebody that collects vintage inks.
And people are out there. I have a couple. I do like a couple, and I will sample them out. They're actually on my site under my vintage area.
I've got a couple. One, a friend of mine gave me. It's up there, I forgot the name of it, but it's a real old ink, but it's really a nice one. So I use it very sparingly.
I was going to ask Adam regarding this iron gall. The new iron, the KWZ has a lot of iron gall inks. They're more modern, are they not? Are they really even iron gall? Because they're saying they're more, that true iron gall inks are not really good for your pens, or they can be, damaging to your pens at some point. But these new iron gall inks, I've got a couple of them, and Are they safe or are they different?
The new iron gall, like KWZ, absolutely safe.
Okay.
Roher and Klinger has an iron gall, absolutely safe. On the new stuff, here's the thing on the old stuff. It's absolutely safe, and you're not going to have a problem when you're using a gold nib. If you're using a steel nib, you might see the steel nib start to rust because of it. The gold nib handles it. They used iron gall inks and they didn't have a problem. The only problems that actually people are seeing is I'm sorry, a 40-year-old sack that had iron gall ink left in it. That's not really a problem. You know what I mean? I think it's overplayed I have two nibs I have a nib that's been sitting in an iron gall ink for 2 years. And I take the nib out and I aerate the iron gall ink. The ink is absolutely looking horrible. The nib, I wipe it off. It looks perfectly good.
It's a gold nib?
It's a gold nib, and and all it's been doing for 2 years, like every now and then I remember and I'm like, yeah, I should go aerate that. And I take a syringe and I'm pumping air through it and I put it back. The nib, I wipe it off with a paper towel. You can't tell it's been sitting in ink.
Wow.
So I just think that it is a thing that could be a problem. I think the problem's overplayed.
Okay.
Yeah, and people are afraid of the inks now. You know, they go, oh, I'd like to try it, but I'm afraid of the iron gall. Look, in the 50s and the 40s, they didn't care. They put whatever ink in and they moved on, and those pens are still around.
I have some iron gall ink that I use.
For your pen.
So
You just have to clean it and flush it out more often. That's all.
Yeah, there's the difference. If I'm using an iron gall ink a lot, like I crushed the Ackerman number 10 iron gall. I had gotten a bottle of that and I crushed that bottle, and just in going through it. And all I did was washed my pen with water like once a month, and I just kept inking up a pen with it over and over again. I wasn't having any kind of issue. I haven't seen any problems for it, and I've put a lot of iron gall inks through a bunch of pens.
Are they more water resistant?
So there's two aspects to the modern iron gall ink. When you're looking at the KWZ, because they're the big ones, in my opinion, in making iron gall right now, they have the part that's the iron gall ink that is much less aggressive than the old ones. But there's also many more dyes in there. So if it's already on paper and you get water on it, the dyes are still going to move. So you're going to think you're losing what's there. But the more permanent what you get from iron gall, because all that happens is it gets into the paper and it rusts into the paper. That's why you see that part that doesn't move. So it's pretty rust in the paper. Unlike the KWZ, it's got dyes in there also. So the dyes are what's moving, not the iron gall part.
Right.
If you get a more, I want to call it more traditionally made iron gall. Like my experience with Registraw's Blue Black was not good. I think it aged before I could use it. But Registraw's Blue Black doesn't move. It gets in the paper, very permanent. Yeah, and it's blue black because it went down blue and it turned black over time.
Wow.
does anybody? Oh, I didn't raise my hand. Okay. Does anybody have a special pen that they use just for writing letters, or you just mix it up? I don't have that special pen. I just mix mine up.
Mix them up.
Yeah.
Norm?
Yeah, I was in a situation where when I was working, I'm retired now, but when I was working, I had to keep file notes that would go on for years. So I used lawyers or document inks for that. And perhaps as a consequence or not, I'm not sure, but I restricted it to a late model Schaefer pen, which is probably made in China. But I ultimately had problems with that pen, which may or may not have been through the ink. But but I didn't use those long-lasting inks in my other pens by choice. So I did keep that sort of document ink restricted to one pen. Seemed to pay benefits. Yep.
Was it a document ink or was it an iron gall?
It was a document ink. It certainly wasn't an iron gall ink. And there was nothing on it that said not safe for fountain pens, so I blissfully used it. Now, it may or may not have been the ink's fault, I don't know, but the pen eventually stopped working, even though I flushed it out fairly regularly, and I wound up throwing the pen away. It was a reasonable quality pen, and I was a bit sorry to throw it away, but yeah, it was no good to anybody.
Yeah.
So may or may not have been the ink.
I think the document inks are a bit different than the iron galls. I don't think they're iron galls. I think there's something else that's going on in there. And I said it one time before, the most difficult ink I ever had to clean out of a pen was a document ink. And the funny thing was, it was white document ink. But document inks, they're a different creature altogether than iron galls, you know, and I don't know what is in there. And that would be having, you know, an ink manufacturer willing to say, these are the types of things that are there that make it bond and become so permanent.
Yeah, well, I just as a matter of safety, try to avoid them now. There's a couple of mainstream fountain pen inks that are reasonably waterproof, and they bond with the paper. And particularly now that I'm not working, it's not so important. So I stick to the mainstream soluble inks these days it's just safer, I think. But no, I've steered clear from iron gall, but that's probably my own ignorance more than anything else.
Okay, folks, it's been about an hour, so we're going to have to cut this off here pretty soon. But before I go, let me just mention a few things. The Fort Worth Pen Club, Janice is part of that, and I am, and Doc McCarty is as well. We haven't met, since March, isn't that right, Janice? So
Right.
we don't even know how many of us there are left. So we're going to be having our Pen Club meeting, our first one on the 27th. That's going to be on a Friday at 6:30 p. And of course,
Zoom. On Zoom.
On Zoom. And then everybody's invited that want to participate. You can come on. Also, at the end of the month, I'm going to be booked all day with Frank. We're going to be doing a what, Frank? Would you like to share what you're going to be having your show?
Well, I'm going to be at my pop-up at a local mall here in South Jersey called Morristown Mall. It's just east of Philly, and I'll be doing my weekend pop-up. The mall actually rents a store to small businesses per weekend basis. So it's a 1,200 square foot store, which is actually almost 3 times the size of the one I had last year. I was in a 400 square foot one last year, which was pretty good. I was in an old mobile phone store.
And what are the dates and time, Frank, on that?
It's the 27th, 28th, and 29th, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Black Friday weekend. In fact, your thing is going to be Black Friday, on the 27th. Yeah, and I'll be there Black Friday weekend, and I'll be there then. And I'll be there during the mall hours. I think it's going to be extended. It's probably like 10 to 10 each day. And I'll be there.
Is that your Thanksgiving as well?
That's right after Thanksgiving. Yeah, that's Black Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yes, the day after Thanksgiving.
So I will be putting out information on.
Yeah, and I'll be putting more information out about that too. Yeah.
Also, on the 15th, we'll have Anderson Pens. Lisa and Brian will be on. That's going to be on the Sunday, the 15th, all on Zoom at 5 p. And Tom Odo from the Ink Journal / Ghost Pop Pens will be on the 20th. So pretty well booked. And then Kevin from Fountain Pen Revolution I just need to get a time before I give a date, but all this information will be put on YouTube and on my social medias, Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. So I can't wait till we get the Fort Worth Pen Club up and going, just to see how that's going to go.
I think it
Janice
would really be cool to have a international group of people at the Fort Worth Pen Club. So that would really be nice. So
That'd be great.
all are invited.
Yeah, maybe Frank can bring his gang over.
Sure.
Well,
Larry, are we going to do this again? Maybe we schedule it for like the second Tuesday of December, maybe?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that now.
Just to kind of keep it, if you all are, and by the way, as he's looking that up, you know, I want, on behalf of Larry, I want to thank everyone that showed up here today. And I was to put a face with a name. I've met Lannis on here before, and some Rosemary, and now see Susan. It was great to see you in person, Susan, and I enjoy all of your letters. Thank you all for being my pen pal, and I appreciate each and every one of those.
So let's talk about then, Tony, December the 8th at 6:30.
Yeah, that's fine.
6:30
Central.
Central, yeah.
Yeah.
Maya, that's about the middle of the morning for you.
Okay, folks. Well, now it's time to say goodbye to all our company. All right. Hey, everybody, thank you for coming. Really, I've had a blast. It's been fun. Because, you know,
See you in the mailbox.
You
See
got
you all in the mailbox.
Yeah, see you at the mailbox.
Oh, no, I'll see you at the mall, Frank. I'm going to fly down with my jet. Is this it? Okay, folks. Okay. A lot of peace and love to you guys. Be cool like you're school. Don't take no wooden nickels.